I know that it's kind of bizarre to people that some people that I'm doing this George Strait gig and how I got it and that stuff, and everybody's thinking, well, like, he's a heavy metal drummer and all that. But first of all, I started playing country music when I was 17 years old, kind of right at the same when I was a senior in high school, and it was this teacher that I had, English teacher. She had a country band. She played fiddle. And she asked me if I would be into playing country music, playing in her country band. And I was like, well, I know a little bit of country music from my dad and growing up and that sort of thing, but didn't really know anything about it. But that's when I started to play country music when I was 17. And, as soon as I got out of high school, I started playing more and more country music. I didn't go to college, for all that. I didn't get into the work cycle of working somewhere. There goes a fly swatter. And but I started playing country music around town with bands, and it was kind of my way to make some money and that sort of thing. And I started to get, better and better at it. I guess same as the metal thing, how we all get better as we sort of learning cover songs and learning the style and all that stuff. And so through the years, as my metal career sort of kind of took off and whatever, so did my country sort of stuff as far as playing sessions around town, and playing with different bands and all that, and gradually getting to play with better and better players, and as I mentioned, playing on records, touring, and everything else. It's just that I guess a lot of people didn't know that more about me, but right around, I guess, all the members of George Strait's band are from the Texas area, or most of them are, and San Antonio and New Braunfels, Austin, San Marcos area. And so over the years, I got to play with some of those guys. But in 2013, that's when I started playing with a guy, Freddie Cruz, local guy. We did a record, that sort of thing. But the leader of his band is Ronnie Huckabee, and Ronnie Huckabee is George Strait's musical director and piano player. And I'd done some work with Ronnie, but not a whole lot. But as we started doing this regular gig, and we were playing every weekend, and some weekdays, we're playing 2-3 days a week, nights a week. And I guess our relationship got to be pretty good as far as, learning songs and, and number charts and all that sort of stuff. And so I guess he started to get a lot of faith in me and my playing and working things out and doing my homework and all that sort of thing. So, but I had that gig for a few years, and then I would go off and leave and do the Sebastian thing or Fate's Warning. And then he would, go out and do the George Strait stuff. And then what happened was in 2018, George Strait's drummer that George had since 1991 died, Mike Kennedy, in a car accident, actually. He was from San Antonio, but he was in Nashville and had been living there for years and years. And he had been with George for like 27 years, something like that. And so, it was tragic for them, the loss, as well as, the band and for George and all that sort of thing. And Mike was not only playing with the Ace and the Whole band, but he was also playing in a corporate band that it's a kind of a dance hall and corporate country band called the Texas Jam Band, which features 4 members of George's band. So George's band is a big band. It's basically a 9-piece band with 2 backup singers and George. So, but this Texas Jam Band had 4 members of the band, and this was 2018 when Mike died, and so Huck asked me if I would be interested in playing with the jam band, doing those gigs. And so for the last couple of years, I had been playing with 4 guys in the band and of George's band, and the same thing, sort of, the relationships get better, and, the gigs and all that, and, working together. And so what happened was, during this last year and a half, George, then when Mike Kennedy died, George hired a studio drummer that had done a lot of great studio drummer, Lonnie Wilson. And so Lonnie played the last year and a half with George Strait. So when George, after this whole pandemic, and they're, everybody's getting back together, and it had been 14 months since those guys had done a gig with George Strait. And so at that point, for some reason, and I don't really know the exact reason, but George decided he wanted to make a change in the drummer's spot or whatever. And I guess maybe he asked Huck, or maybe, like, it was like, well, I think I want to make a change or whatever. And my name came up. And so it's a weird thing how, like, I mean, the good thing is I already had been playing with 4 and sometimes 5 members of the band, depending on what the gig is and that sort of thing. So stepping into the George Strait thing was cool for me, because I know the style, I know everything about George Strait, as being in Texas and growing up in the Austin area, as you guys have, and that sort of thing. George Strait is king of country music, and I've been playing his songs, since I was, since he came out in, the early 80s, and learning those tunes and all that. So, and it just kind of led into this gig with George Strait. It's crazy. Yeah, totally crazy. I mean, I hope that kind of answers the whole sort of thing of how country music and the George thing kind of came about.
Yeah,
I did a private gig with him a few weeks ago in Austin. So we had done 3 rehearsals, and then the gig, and it went well, and 30 songs, it was an hour and 45, 50-minute gig. And it went really well. And George texted me the next day and said, great job. And he said, see you in August. And August is the first shows of is Vegas before the rest of the, and then and so I got the tour dates for the rest of 2021 and 2022. So.
That is crazy, man. Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's big.
Huge, big, man.
That's big. I want you to do the thumb. You got the thumb.